I mean, his whole future's in front of him. You know, he's only been here 3 years, basically, right? And you know, I mean, his whole future's in front of him. So it's, you know, it's up to the franchise that gets him, the organization that gets him, and they're gonna have to put a little developmental time into him. And there's not gonna be like a seasoned guy that's been around for 5 years. He hasn't even been in the weight, in the off-season program very much, which makes him a little different than some of the other guys. But he'll do well. You don't have to worry about him.
The running back position, I know a couple of those higher-up guys were dinged up for Saturday, but is that up for grabs with Jewell and Adam and Brandon right now?
Well, yeah, you'd like, everybody, we'd like to think we have a little depth there, and there's guys that have some playing experience, but they're all like, nursing different things at this stage. So, so if somebody's saying there is depth, I guess I'm with you, sort of. But at practice it doesn't look that way. But yeah, I mean the best guys are going to play. And they're three different types of guys too. It's kind of amazing, and if everybody shows up, in a camp, in good health, then it's going to be a great problem for us to have to try to figure out what to do with with all those guys and how to use them.
If there's say the third guy in that list, will you try to utilize them in a different way, whoever it is, as far as getting them, because they're all pretty explosive when they get the ball.
Right. I don't have an answer to your question right now. We haven't even thought that far down the line, because if they're all practicing right now every day, then it would help us figure some of that stuff out potentially, because you could maybe do a little bit of what you're talking about, maybe experiment with a guy, in a different situation where you move him out of the backfield and put him one-on-one with a linebacker, whatever. You could use somebody maybe differently in the pass game, but we haven't been able to do that, so we haven't, our thought process hasn't even made it that far. Right now, we're just figuring out how we're going to scrimmage on Saturday, which I'm sure, was already talked about.
I'd like to use a lot of tight ends behind Allen and Brad right now. Who would maybe?
Jonathan Gimm's having a good spring. Eric Johnson's really done a nice job bringing some of those young guys along. He's improved, an awful lot. And then all the other guys are they're in a super learning mode right now. Where it's hard to, it's the easiest thing they're doing right now is drill period, where they can at least focus on their fundamentals and fit their pads in the right way and step with the right foot and all that. And once you get into the scrimmage situation, or, team simulated, situations, then it takes a lot of discipline not to revert back to whatever it is that But all the other guys are working. Dakota Getz, is coming along, and we're trying to work him as much as we can. And Zach Derby, from City High has been a nice surprise this spring, and we're still working some of the other guys as well. But it is an important position for us, and we need to come out of this with with an idea of who the third and fourth guys are, because traditionally that's what we've done. The same thing with the offensive line. We need to make sure we know who the top seven guys are, and work them. And young guys are getting thrown into the fire, like Connor Buffelli. He's been getting a lot of work at center, he hadn't played center before, and then all of a sudden he's got to make all these calls and ID all these defenses, and the quarterbacks all need to be on the same page with him. It's a whole different world. So you're trying to get those guys the reps that they need, and develop the third guy or the fourth guy or whatever it may be, so that we're able to do what we like to do as an offense.
So Derby is moving well, is he, for you?